of your screen there, you see Jessica Smith, who is this year's Dash for the Cash contestant. She gets a 2.7-mile head start out near Commonwealth Avenue at the other half of this event. If she can beat the elites back here to the finish line at Monroe Park, she wins $2,500 courtesy of AT&T for the duration. Good morning, Tracy, and over 2,000 kids participated in this year's 1 Mile Kids Run, a record for the event. Joined again, as we will be all morning, by Bart Yasso from Runner's World magazine. We have the first finishers with us for both the boys and the girls. The first boys finisher, Randy Hahn, a 6th grader from Machoaka Middle School. You ran, I want to say, Bart, his time was about 5:18 for the mile. That's pretty quick. Is that the fastest you've ever done it, or is that how fast you usually have been running in training?
In track and whatnot, yeah, that's my usual times, but yeah, that's my PR so far. So.
PR.
Say, setting his personal records already.
That's fantastic. Good for you.
Certainly in the top 5, 6 fastest times ever. But you're right, not a record, but he is going to be one happy camper to take this race.
Aline Rita, an Ethiopian by way of New York City, finished 3rd in this race last year. He will win the 2010 Ukrops Monument Avenue 10K.
This has been a tough game to prepare for each team because they've only had a couple of days to get ready for a style they're not used to seeing. St. Mary's isn't used to seeing a matchup zone defense or guards like Richmond has, and Richmond isn't used to a team that can shoot as well as St. Mary's.
This is a lot of work in a very few amount of days, but that's the way it is. I think in these types of games, you know, you have to go out there and you have to be who you are first and foremost, and hopefully we've done that very well to get to this point.
Yeah, it's more about us. We know that. We know if we play well, we make shots, we're hard to beat.
Guys like that, and like you said, once we've had that preparation, I think we'll be fine.
The Spiders aren't sneaking up on teams anymore either, with a front page story on today's USA Today. And even though they have the number 7 seed, they are still a slight underdog to St. Mary's in tomorrow afternoon's game. From Providence, Rhode Island, Lane Casadante, CBS 6 Sports. Everybody knows about the Flying Squirrels, one of the most unique nicknames in all of minor league baseball. That's everybody in Richmond. But all the way out here at Giants training camp in Arizona, the players, who will be called Squirrels this summer, are excited about wearing this uniform.
That was an interesting choice, but, you know, I saw the logo and it looks cool, so.
I've heard worse, so, I mean, it's not too bad at all. I mean, I love the colors, and I'm sure at the end of the season they'll be saying the 2010 Eastern League champions, the Richmond Flying Squirrels.
And coming up in sports, we'll continue our profile of the players that will be calling the Diamond home and will be calling themselves Squirrels this summer. In Scottsdale, Arizona, Lane Casadante, CBS 6. Next Saturday's spring game here in Blacksburg could go a long way towards determining Virginia Tech's starting lineup this fall, and it will hopefully give fans a chance to see just how far Darren Evans has come since his knee injury last year.
Yeah, Darren, he didn't get too much action today, but yeah, I think he's in good shape.
It's just going to be exciting to see him and Ryan back there.
Evans' backfield teammate Ryan Williams carried only 4 times in Wednesday's scrimmage and has seen very limited action this spring, partly because the coaching staff already knows what he can do, and partly because they don't want to see the same injury happen to him this spring. In Blacksburg, Lane Casadante, CBS 6 Sports. One of the biggest topics at this year's media tour in Charlotte was about a driver who isn't even here. Danica Patrick is set to make her stock car debut this season, among mixed reviews from her future competitors.
It does make it harder going back and forth between the cars, and especially taking a break. Like you said, it'll take some time to get reacclimated. But
or what your background is or who your parents are, you're not going to be able to drive a race car unless you're really good at it, which she's shown. She's very, very talented.
Patrick is scheduled to drive her first stock car race next month at Daytona, and then as her IRL schedule will allow throughout the season. In Charlotte, Lane Casadante, CBS 6 Sports. After falling behind Boise State 17-0 in the first quarter, the Virginia Tech Hokies were poised to make their greatest comeback ever under head coach Frank Beamer. Riding the legs of running back Ryan Williams, who scored 3 total touchdowns, and the arm of quarterback Tyrod Taylor, who threw for 186 yards, the Hokies had a 4-point lead late in the game when Boise State came from behind and scored the final touchdown on this pass from Kellen Moore to Austin Pettis to win 33-30.
Disappointing that I give Boise State credit. You know, the kids fought awfully hard to come back, and we just didn't finish it off.
It was an opportunity missed, but I believe that we beat ourselves. It wasn't anything that they did to beat us. I strongly believe that. We just got to correct those mistakes.
We started out the game terrible, and I wouldn't have been surprised if they would have blew us out the water, but we fought back, but it wasn't enough time.
The Hokies don't have much time to correct all those mistakes. They host James Madison this Saturday in Blacksburg, and Frank Beamer has now lost 7 of the 8 times when his team has played against an opponent ranked in the top 5. From FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland, Lane Casadante, CBS 6.
Congratulations to Lee Davis. And they will be in the Division 6 playoffs next week if they got a little bit of help, and we'll tell you if they did later in the show. Verina and Highland Springs have been saving their meeting for the last game of the season for years, and in the past this has been kind of a playoff game with the winner moving on and the loser going home in Division 6. This year, though, the Springers had already clinched a spot. The Blue Devils were in the odd position of needing a win just to get in, just to have a winning season to get to 6-4. Let's take you out to the East End and show you this one. First quarter, Springers quarterback Marcellus Carter. 12-yard touchdown pass to Antoine Wilkerson. They missed the extra point, though, and it was 6-0 Springers. Second quarter, John Thompson going to run it right around the end for the 8-yard touchdown. The Springers had a 12-0 lead. Verina better get moving or their season is going to be over. Second quarter, Devils start the comeback. Quarterback Maurice Canaday, 8-yard touchdown run of his own, 12-7. They cut the lead. Then, just before halftime, Canaday is going to keep the ball, go right through a huge hole up the middle. This was on 4th down as well. That was a 30-yard touchdown run. They get the extra point. Blue Devils have the lead, 14-12 at half in the fourth quarter. Doubles to Shavon Hayes, 64 yards for the score. That is going to be the clincher. Verina advances. They win 20-12, and the Blue Devils earn themselves a spot in the playoffs.
We knew we win, we in, so the pressure was on us. We didn't have a choice but to win. We thought the game would get easy in the third and fourth quarter because of our size, and it did. We ran the ball, we lucky. They come out, they jumped up with a 12-point lead, and we fought back.
All right, girls, here they are, the Clover Hill Cavaliers. They needed to beat Henrico tonight to secure a spot. They could still get in even if they lost, but why take that chance? Third quarter, Clover Hill up 14-7. Cavaliers with the ball. Darius Moffitt, watch him go, 65 yards for the touchdown. Clover Hill had a 21-7 lead. Then the Cavalier defense playing very good ball in the second half. Henrico looking to score, but number 75, Mo Gross with the quarterback sack. Later, Cavaliers punting, and it's dropped. A scrum finally going to be recovered by Nick Solferino for Clover Hill. That would pretty much cinch it. Henrico trying to make something happen. Malcolm Bell throws to Trayvon Robinson for the 30-yard play. Was not enough. Cavaliers win 21-7, and Clover Hill is in the playoffs next week. Still to come, do Meadowbrook and Petersburg still have a shot at the playoffs? And how did the top 2 teams in our high school poll make out? We'll tell you next. Stay with us.
Not only is this the highest-ranked team that the Hokies have faced all year, it is also the most complex offense. Stanford runs some 350 different plays and has used 27 players on that side of the ball.
It's always interesting coming into the Monday meeting and getting the install for this week or for the weeks during the season to see what the coaches have come up for us for whatever game plan it is.
We really feel that that's important. Just to get as many people involved as possible. I really think it builds upon itself and makes everybody really that much more excited to prepare for a game.
Bud's preparing us right, putting us in the right situation. Toria, coaching us, for this game. So, I'm not too worried about that. I got confidence in that they'll put us in the right positions.
And that's kind of one thing that they've done that's similar to Boise State. They're going to run a lot of people in, a lot of people off, trying to get you into substitution matchup situation. And for us, regardless to who we have in there, whether we have our regular personnel or nickel personnel, our package is going to be the same.
All-American Hokies quarterback J-Ron Hosley injured his ankle in practice on Thursday, but says he will be ready to go by Monday night. And linebacker Barquell Rivers may see his first action of the year in the Orange Bowl after sitting out all season with a ruptured quadriceps muscle. From Fort Lauderdale with the Hokies, Lane Casadante, CBS 6. While the entire Giants minor league organization is one of the best in baseball, 3 of the most talked about prospects are outfielders: Roger Kieschnick, Darren Ford, and Thomas Neal. Soon they will be patrolling the outfield in San Francisco. This year, they're scheduled to do it at the Diamond.
for whatever reason, they seem to work real well together. They're enormously talented, and they love playing the game, and I think they take pride in
create wins for the team.
While those three spent most of spring training with the big league club, they didn't usually get more than one at-bat per game, but the experience of being around big league players should prove invaluable to them in the future. In Scottsdale, Arizona, Lane Casadante, CBS 6 Sports.
I think there was more snow on the field than there was all over campus.
Richmond baseball coach Mark McQueen was looking forward to an improved Spider team to start his third season as manager. Instead, his team finally took the tarp off Pittfield earlier this week, and they've had to start their season without having one practice outdoors at home.
We should have been about 10 or 12 inter squads into our preseason practice right now. It was something I'd never been through before, and quite frankly, I had no idea how we were going to fare once we took off.
It's a problem facing athletic fields all over Central Virginia. In Henrico, just getting onto the fields can be a muddy challenge, and even then you find that home plate is still underwater. Standing water won't be gone quickly if the ground underneath is still frozen.
Until we get the soil temperatures up to where we need them to be to actually drain the moisture away, it's going to be an issue.
Any snow still remaining will have to melt on its own because removing it can do more harm than good. Most facilities will have to spend extra money on man-hours to repair the damage done by the snow, and that presents a problem for places like Belmont Golf Course. One of the busiest in the state, they have been closed for over 30 days since the beginning of December. Even in the winter, losing those customers affects the bottom line.
When you play 20, 30 players on a day like today, yeah, it's hard to cover your expenses.